Hi, let's talk about your project. So, the first thing you need to make sure you do, and if you haven't done this, just stop the video, open up the PDF for the project description and read it carefully, and then go back and make sure you understand the parts, and then go back and check over it and read it, because the biggest part on any assignment is making sure you understand what it is you need to do, and there are lots of parts to this assignment, so make sure you read it and you understand what to do. Once you've done that, then you can come back here and we'll talk about some advice that I have for you on how to go about doing it. So I'm going to assume that you have a basic idea of what you're supposed to do and maybe clarify a few things. Alright, so you've read it. Now the next thing you should do is get a copy of this handout that I made for you so that you can write down different things that you can use on your project. And you can find this if you go to the Moodle page and you go to SI Resources and you go to the bottom. You'll see 2742 SI Worksheet 6 project. I don't know why it's Worksheet 6 and the one before it is Worksheet 7 and the one before that is Worksheet 3. I don't know how I name these things. Okay, but anyway, so get that one. I am continually updating this as I find little errors and little extra things. So if I just updated it a second ago. It is now Friday at 12:45 p.m. So you'll want to get that. So the first thing that I want you to do is take a look, and we're simulating a traffic intersection, and we have 6 lanes that we're looking at: A, B, C, D, E, and F, and the lanes can go like this. A can go straight forward, so A can go into this lane. B can either go straight forward or turn south. C, oh, no, that's not true. I lied. B can only turn right. So A only goes straight forward. B only turns right. C is the only one that has 2 choices. C can go straight forward or turn if you are facing in C's direction. If you're facing south, you would turn right, so towards the west. D only turns to go to the east. I get east and west and left and right and all that backwards, so just, I might say it wrong. Okay, E can only go straight forward, which in this case is to the left, yes. And F can only turn to go south. And so those are the 6 lanes of traffic that you have. And then this diagram shows the actual patterns that you have and who goes where. Now, my assumption was that drivers are idiots and that you could never have on a light, say, B and F, where they could both be turning into this lane, because they wouldn't be able to handle that and they would collide. So my assumption was that you could never have 2 lights on where there was the possibility of a collision. And so, for example, you could have on lights C and D at the same time, because C could go straight down or turn and go west, and D could turn and go east, and there would never be a chance of a collision there. You could also have on lights A, B, and E at the same time. A would go straight from west to east. B would go from the west and turn south, and E would go straight from east to west, and you would never have a possibility of a collision. So what I want you to do now is to pause and write down what are all your possible combinations of lights that you can have on at the same time. So do that, and then once you've done that, we'll come back. Okay, so this is a finite state machine, and if you aren't really that up to date with finite state machines, you should go back over your notes, read those, and then also for the Verilog for finite state machines, you did that. Lab 7 was a really good introduction for Verilog for finite state machines. So you should look at Lab 7. Also, if you want more practice, and I should have done this as a live lab, instead I just told people to look at the recordings from last semester. But if you go to that same SI resources page and you go to worksheet 5, worksheet 5, well, I don't know. I thought I put it on here. Anyway, it's right here. It says worksheet. It has worksheet 5, questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I know I've loaded this worksheet more than once. I'm going to load it again real quick, so I'm just going to pause. Okay, I've loaded it. That's at least the third time I've loaded it. Maybe I'm deleting it. I don't know. But worksheet 5 here for worksheet 5 Verilog for finite state machines. And then I have these worked out here. And it shows you how the Verilog for finite state machines works. And I just take a look at this worksheet. I'll show you. This is just to help you understand things. It'll be good for helping you study for the final. Okay, so I have these questions. So here is an example of a Verilog for finite state machines. And you look at the Verilog and you come up with what the state table is. Here you have a state table, and then you write the Verilog. I recommend that you actually look at this one last. And then there's some more of that. So this is just some good practice for you on how it all works. Okay, so so this is a finite state machine. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at your traffic situation. And you're going to be defining different states. And each state is going to be defined by the lane that you are looking at that time. So you are looking at a particular lane, you're seeing if there is traffic, and if there's traffic, you are making that light green. So let's get an example. Okay, so we had lane A, lane B, lane C, lane D, lane E, and lane F. So your states are going to correspond to which lane you are actively looking at. So let's call our states. I can start by calling them states 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Or usually I give states letters, so it's a little confusing here because these are state names that I'm writing. They are not the same as the lanes. So state names A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so forth. And for mine, I ended up going to state K, I think I did. You know, I'm sitting at one desk. I haven't moved. How can I have lost my paper? I went to state K. Yeah, I ended up having however many states that is, plus a state that I called a reset state. And for each state, you are actively checking a particular lane. So for mine, I had for state A, I was checking lane A. Now, if there was traffic in lane A, then that light came on. And because I can have more than one light on at a time, to be efficient, all the lights that I turned on for state A, I turned on as well lights B and E. So I just made a record of that. Okay, so what lane do I want to check after I check lane A? There's no the project description doesn't tell you what order you have to check them, so you can decide. I apparently decided that the next lane I wanted to check was lane D, so I checked lane D next. And so state B corresponded to checking lane D, and if I turned on the light for D, it looked like in this particular state what I did, you do not have to do it this way, I turned on lights D and B. So I turned on D because it could go that way, and B because it could go that way. Okay, and then I decided the next light I wanted to check was E. So I checked lane E next. Okay, I'm not going to go through and tell you all the order that I checked them. It doesn't matter. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's the order that I chose. But you were given a little bit of guidance in that the traffic can be heavier in the east-west direction than in the north-south direction, especially because there is no north direction. There is a north. Don't worry. There is a north, but there's just no north direction you can go on this lane. So the weightedness that he wanted you to do is he said he wanted the weights for checking lanes A and E were 3, and the weights for checking B, D, and F were 1, and for E was 2. That means this is what I think it means. So this is the way I interpreted it, that when you finish defining your states, that A should show up as in this not the state in the oh no, this is the state. This is the lane you're checking right here. Let me go to my handout. Let's see. Let me get my computer in laptop mode. Okay, and I made this little chart for you to fill out. This is just for your convenience. That you'll say what state you check, and when you fill this out, A should show up 3 times as often as B, D, and F. And E should show up twice as often. So that's what you want to happen. That's what it means by weighting. So, and the order that you pick it's up to you. I don't, I mean, I would not check A, E. No, this must have been a C, right? Yeah, that's a C. So C twice as often. So don't do A, E, C, B, D, F. I mean, that's not the way real traffic would work. But you do want that to happen. And the other thing that was true from your assignment, let's take a look at it, is that you also wanted to make sure that no lane should wait longer than 10 cycles. So when you have your final list here, as you go through, you shouldn't have to wait 10 cycles before a lane shows up again. So if I check on state 2 here, if I check lane B, I need to check lane B again before I get to state 12. Now, it's not going to be the case that I'm always going from state 1 to state 2 to state 3 to state 4 to state 5, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So what I want you to do right now is to fill out this table based on what we've talked about so far, and then after you've done that, we'll come back and pick it up from here. And yeah, okay, good.